Hello, my fellow people of the internet. I'm Indoor Winner, and I'm being lazy. I usually don't upload these single replays videos because I like to over-edit my videos and make scripts for them and make sure that I'm making them as entertaining and as informative as possible. And I think that these single replay videos are a little bit too easy to make, so I don't like to make them very often. But screw that. I don't have time to do anything actually serious this week because it's Clan Wars season, and I absolutely do not have enough free time. So instead, I'm cheating, and I'm making this single replay video, which I promised myself I wouldn't make too often. So yeah, don't expect this to turn into a series. I'm only going to be making these kind of videos if I absolutely don't have time to make scripted videos like the Tier 6 Strongholds video or the 1,000 subscriber special that I promised. Thanks for 1,000 subscribers, by the way. Figured I should mention that, even though this video is a little bit different. So yeah, I'm playing in the Bourrasque. This is a replay from my 3-mark section of the Bourrasque. I haven't actually managed to 3-mark it yet, but that's more out of laziness than anything else. I haven't gotten around to playing the 100 battles. But yeah, for this game, I'm just going to be focusing on whether or not what my thought processes are throughout the game, and not too much about what the tank is good at or anything like that. I don't really want to focus about the tank, because I can assume that a lot of you probably already know a good idea of what the Bourrasque is capable of, and instead I'm going to focus on what I'm thinking throughout the game. So in the beginning of the game, as soon as I see that I'm a top tier tank, I'm instantly going towards the one line, no matter what. The reason for that is the Bourrasque is fast and it's able to put out clips. So what you want to do is make sure that you go to a spot that you know the enemy team will be going to, put one clip in, and then from the rest of the game you can adjust based upon it. And technically I could be playing as a light tank as well, seeing as there's absolutely no light tanks on either side of the team. On either side of the game is a better way of saying it. But yeah, instead of that, I decided to play the Assassin Medium Tank because I enjoy doing damage, and I really don't see too much light tanking to be done. So at this point, as soon as we've taken over C1, I noticed that there are a lot of TDs just sitting in the back waiting for things to push over the ridge. So instead of being the leader and pushing over the ridge on the one line and getting a face full of tank destroyer shells, I instead decide to rotate over to the 5 line and start pushing up in the lower road. The reason for that is as soon as you get up below them in the lower road, then the stuff at C1 can start putting shots in. However, my hand is kind of forced because I see our Basantes pushed out instead of being a little bit more patient and allowing me to spot out first. So I decide to try to go up and try to keep our Basante alive for as long as possible. He's already lost quite a bit of health, which means that there are even more TDs back there, and sure enough, there are at least 4 so far. I put one shell into the STA, put another shell in, he misses his return shot, but instead of the STA, which I thought I had to worry about, it was the VK4502A who thinks he's a tank destroyer, and has managed to put a free shot into me by poking over the rails. Now, normally I would just stay in that position and make sure I could keep screwing with the tank destroyers, but because of that VK there that's keeping me pinned down in the rails, and because they still have an artillery piece, I decided to move once again and try to get an assassination clip in on that VK45. However, along the way I'm a little bit distracted by the fact that I think the low might be on the opposite side of the ridge. I see that he is not, so I decide to switch back to my side of the map. And then I'm distracted once again by the ISU-152. Now you can really see the weakness of the Bourrasque. I know I didn't say... I said I wasn't going to talk too much about the Bourrasque, but weakness of the Bourrasque, you can't really hit shots from range very consistently. And even though I fully aimed those shots, I was unable to hit the second one. But yeah, what I really want to be doing right now is focusing on the 1-2-3 line and trying to make sure that we win that line, because it's very clear to me that the 8-9 line is lost. And since I'm not in a tank that can effectively provide support fire, I try to go to assassinate the VK. Unfortunately, the G-Sor is repositioned and is able to spot me before I'm able to clear the ridge, which means that all of his friends are able to pre-aim on me before I'm able to make my move. My last platoon mate just got finished off over on the 8-9 line, so I decide to start heading back. And now technically I could be putting another clip into the VK, and I could be trying to support against that tank. However, I don't really trust the fact that we're going to be able to win that side fast enough. If I thought we were able to win that side prior to us losing the 8-9 line, then yes, it would be a good idea to try to take out the entire 1-2 line. However, I don't think we can win it fast enough, and I don't think I could survive a push. We just don't have enough health left over there, and if I tried to go after the VK, his TDs would do the exact same thing that they did to me last time, which is put free shots into me while I'm relocating. So I decided to head back, and along with me on the defense is the ISU-152K, the UDES-14-5 is noticed, and the WZ's going in from a different angle. So now my role here is as the light tank. If I get spotted here, I'm able to pull back through the ridge lines that I just came over here to... I can go back through the ridge lines that I just used to get over here. I need to start learning how to speak English for these replays. Maybe I underestimated the YouTubers who just commentate on these things all day. But yeah, anyway, I'm just trying to spot the heavy tanks as they cross so that I can get the WZ and the ISU prepped for putting shots in. Unfortunately, it doesn't look like the ISU has shots, and I see the Basanti's already made it to that point, so I decide to fall back. But I am distracted by the ISU-152, which allows me to put 1 shell and 2 shells into him. And that was a premium clip there. I like to carry about 50-50 premium shells and standard shells. If you're trying to 3-mark the Bourrasque, usually it's better just to carry all premium shells because they're both APCR and there's really no disadvantage to firing premium. But I'm cheap, and I really don't want to lose credits on Tier 8 premium, so I take a lot of standard shells as well. However, I am going to be firing a lot of premium shells for the rest of this game because it is a close game, and a lot of the tanks I'm firing at are now fairly heavily armored, including that IS-5. I should have been able to kill that IS-5 there, but I was unfortunately blocked by the rock that was in front of him, so I was unable to help out our UDES friend, but it turns out that he was able to take care of himself. Until right about now, when the low finishes him off. So that tells me that the low is actually still in the area where he was last spotted, and now I have 2 options. I know that the low is still here. I don't remember off the top of my head what health he was on. I think he was on a 1-shot, so I'm able to know that this is the best option. And I'm able to prep so that I'm only facing one side of the map at a time. I don't have to fight the low and the other tanks at the same time if I'm able to take out the low first. And I want to make sure that I'm absolutely constantly focused on the fact that artillery is going to be aiming at me now, because every time I get spotted, Artie is going to be prioritizing me, seeing as there's not too much else for him to be aiming at. So I take out the low, and now here's where a big important thing comes into play. When you're playing in late game, especially when you're outnumbered like I am with this ISU against 5 enemy vehicles, you want to make absolutely sure that all of the time the enemy team does not know which direction you're coming from. So the last time I was spotted heading towards the midline where the WZ's going to challenge. I want to make absolutely sure that every single time I get spotted and confirm a kill or try to disengage, that wherever I come out from the next time is a different spot. I don't want to make myself predictable at all. So now I'm trying to get a pincer here with the ISU-152. I go around the corner, manage to proxy spot the WZC, he's not looking towards me, which means I can go, make sure I've got his backside, and put in 2 shells. Once again, I'm still firing premium shells here, just to make absolutely certain that every shot I put in is going to have the best possible chance of penetrating. So now that I've finished off the WZ, me and the ISU are ready to face off against the rest of the tanks. So the last few tanks left alive have been playing fairly far back for most of the game. So the plan for me was to get over to the 8 line so I could provide support fire from the side. However, our ISU-152 friend manages to spot out their VK-4502A prior to me getting into position, which means as soon as that happens, I need to relocate back over to my ISU. I don't want to get separated, especially when he's being pressured like that. I was hoping that I was going to be able to relocate when the ISU would spot anything pressuring him before they actually got there, but unfortunately the VK seems to have been able to sneak up on him. So as soon as possible I head back over, but the ISU can take care of himself. He manages to get the kill. And I just saw artillery fire in the ISU's direction, so I know that I don't have to worry about Artie for a little bit of time. And I see the enemy Stritzwagen. Now as soon as I see the enemy Stritzwagen, I stay behind cover until I'm able to make sure that he's not looking at me. Put 1 shell into him, was about to put the second one in, but our ISU manages to finish him off. Unfortunately, our ISU gets taken out in the same exact second by the Stritzwagen, which means a nice eye for an eye medal for both of them. And now I end up in a 1v2 situation. Both of the enemy tanks are on full health, but luckily for me, one of them is artillery. And it just so happens he just told me exactly where he is. When you're against multiple tanks, and when you're trying to carry a game, if it's even possible to do, you need to kill artillery first. Artillery is the absolute destroyer of carries. You can outplay as many tanks as you want, but you can't outplay artillery players. They're just way too good. All they have to do is sneeze on you and you're going to die. So I decide to face off against the artillery first, because that is the most efficient way of going about this. And again, you don't want to make it predictable which direction you're coming from. So instead of heading directly towards where I took the shot from, I'm going to be going the wide direction, and trying to get over to his side so that he doesn't have a chance to respond before I'm able to put the 2 shots I need in to kill him. Find him, able to take my time, auto-aim, left-click twice, and there's another kill. And now it's become a 1v1. Now I'm a 2-shot for the G-Sor and he's a 4-shot for me, which means I have to put in 1 clip, relocate, and then put in the 2nd clip. I figured that he would still be back behind their lines, seeing as I haven't actually engaged him anytime recently, but it turns out he's already all the way by my cap. So it's a matter of just heading back, and now I have plenty of time to head back. There's absolutely no pressure, and him capping is actually the best possible thing for me, because now I have all the time in the world to plan my approach. There are 5 different approaches onto this north cap circle, each of them with varying degrees of success. One is straight through this midline here, another one's right around this side, another one's right around this side, another one's right through these ridges here, which is not too competitive unless you're able to sneak in on that direction, and the last one's right here. And I'm going to be going in through the last one because I figure it is the least predictable one. It's very easy to escape from, and it's very difficult to be pre-aiming on that spot because it's very unlikely that the enemy will be approaching you from there. Now, I know that this G-Sor is a decent player, which means I'm going to have to be absolutely careful with this. I'm reversing out here, so I'm able to get the shots in and run away as quickly as I need to. And there's where I make a big mistake. I put in 2 shots. I should have put in 1 shot and then disengaged, because I was able to get the jump on him. He couldn't return fire for the first shot. As soon as I hit that first shot, I needed to run away. Because I was greedy and I put in the 2nd shot, now I have to play absolutely flawlessly for the rest of this game. Otherwise, I am going to die. Because he is now a 2-shot for me, but I am now just a 1-shot for him. So I absolutely have to make sure I'm winning all of these trades now. Now I know the enemy is still in the cap circle, so I want to approach from a different direction. As soon as he was unspotted, I know that I am unspotted, so I can approach back the way I was coming from in order to make sure that he's not facing me. Now I take a little bit of a risk here where I go straight over, because I didn't want to knock down any trees. Luckily enough for me, he was in a very bad spot, which had his view blocked by those bushes on his left, which means he could not actually see me even though I was firing. So now I'm not spotted whatsoever, so all I do is make sure that I'm running away from him because he's gotten tired of it and he's chasing after me. I'm running away from him and running away from the spot that I was firing from, so that hopefully he starts pressuring the northeastern corner while I can just sneak around. And I'm going back through that sneaky spot just from the opposite direction this time, just to make sure I'm as unpredictable as possible, because he probably could have guessed that I was coming back around behind him. I figured that he was going to be on my right here chasing after me, but he was actually on my left, and he had actually set up a trap for me. Unfortunately for him, he seemed to have been aiming the wrong direction, otherwise he would have had me. Now that I checked his tank outline, I can clearly see that his turret is facing me, which means I can't get the sneaky shot in, and there's no reason to try to trade that out. Now, the reason I turned around here instead of going wide is because I want to keep him from getting into the A8 corner. If he takes that corner, it's very hard to dig him out, and I can see that he's no longer interested in capping. There's 2 minutes left, neither of us can cap the other's base, so it's all about getting off that first shot now. I check over to the left, he's not over there, so I figured he's trying to head over to the corner, and sure enough he is. I bounce the first shot, but he misses his shot, which means that I'm able to take my time with my 2nd shot and finish the game. So for this game, I ended up getting a Mastery Badge Ace Tanker, Hand of God, Bruiser, Duelist, Fire for Effect, Defender because of the resets on the G-Sor, High Caliber, and Top Gun. I ended up getting a total of 6,133 damage and 6 kills, 1,723 base experience points, and a credit profit of 157,000 credits. But yeah, anyway, it was a pretty fun game. I figured I would be justified enough in order to share this with you guys as a quick video. Don't expect this to be a constant thing where I'm just putting up replays. I really am not a huge fan of that kind of structure, so I'm going to be going back to regularly uploaded, edited videos soon. Thank you guys, by the way, for 1,000 subscribers. That's absolutely amazing. Again, if you have any suggestions for future videos, leave them down in the comments. I swear this video won't become a usual thing. It's just so I can fill up time because I'm focusing on so many other things right now, and I wanted to make sure that I put out some kind of video. So the next video that comes up will either be a clan highlights video, or it will be the Tier 6 Strongholds guide, or it will be a guide to making grinding easier. So if you guys are interested in any of that, make sure to subscribe so you can see when those videos come out. Thanks for watching this one, and happy tanking.